Amazon is into that technology as well. You see, they're into everything. And the beauty of what they do for the community, which is such an important part today, and let me tell you why that is, because we feel so divided, so angry at one another, because we gave up bowling and all we do is study politics, and we think we know everything, which we don't. And we're divided, and people feel like, tell me if this isn't right. There's so many problems. I don't even want to really get involved because it's too big for me. Well, Amazon is saying, you want to improve yourself? This is unbelievable. You want to improve yourself? We'll train you. You want to be a nurse? We'll train you to be a nurse. You know what? They don't have nurses here working at Amazon. They're training people to be nurses because that's what they want to be. And Amazon says, I want to make a commitment to the community. It's not just about the bottom line. And the beauty of that means that Bezos can have such a successful company, make so much money without ever trying to make money. He makes money as a side benefit to all of the things that they create. And you listen to them talk, you know, I can train them really well. The customer, the customer, the customer. I mean, that's the way they think. And there is an opportunity to rise inside of this company. But what we have to also focus on, Paul, I believe, is we have to start educating people when they're young for jobs in places like Amazon. Because it's not yesterday. Everything is different, and it's going to be more aggressive, and the change is coming at the speed of light. Number one occupation in America is driving. Definitely within 10 years and probably less, people aren't going to be driving. We will have autonomous vehicles. There'll be no steering wheel. There'll be no pedals. Everything will be computerized. And you might say, well, wow, I don't know if I trust that. Well, let me ask you a question. Would you rather have a car with sensors that's driven by a computer that doesn't comb its hair, or make a cell phone call or a text, or something that's operating with a computer rather than a drunk driver or somebody high on drugs? We better be training our people, because these young people can have those kinds of jobs. The jobs are going to change. And we have to change if we're going to get ahead of the curve. This whole cloud computing, you all know about that? There's only 3 of these cloud computing operations in the country. One's in the West Coast, I assume, was it California or is it in Seattle? Okay, Seattle. Okay, so they're out on the West Coast in Seattle. They're on the East Coast, we're in New York. We're in the East Coast. Northern Virginia, and the third one right here. So about a week ago, Amazon comes in to visit us. So in order to work in a cloud computing operation, you got to have advanced training. So to the credit of Columbus State and 2 other little community colleges, one in Southern Ohio, they're going to have an aggressive course for people to learn how to be involved in cloud computing with the curriculum laid out by Amazon, so anybody that takes it, and if they excel, can get a job in cloud computing. This is the future. It's all changing. And we are so fortunate to have so many aspects of this. So we've got the cloud computing, we've got the fulfillment centers. We'll have a lot of people in a bigger fulfillment center that will be hired in the whole part of Cincinnati and Wilmington, down at the airport that unfortunately we moved an Ohio airport into Kentucky. But you know, that's another story. But nevertheless, people can get work there. Over 6,000 people hired, and they have a huge wind farm. Now, it doesn't make a lot of sense for the legislature to take us back, Senator, on the issue of renewables. He testified, actually, and my understanding is about the fact that we didn't need to go backwards on renewables. Renewables are the wave of the future. That doesn't mean that these other things like natural gas, coal, don't they matter? They do matter. But this world is increasingly moving towards renewable energy. And Ohio is moving in that same direction if we don't stop it. So what I want you to think about today as you walk out into this facility, you're really seeing the future. This is what it is going to look like, and even at an accelerated pace. Because one thing I know about Amazon, they will not stop with what they have today. It's constantly going to be moving forward. and they represent a group of enterprises all across the spectrum that is going to improve the quality of our life. But if we're not ready to train our young people, and the people who need to be retrained, and the people who don't have the degrees at all today, who don't even have a high school diploma, if we're not prepared to give them the skills that they need to have these jobs, you think we're disrupted and divided in America today? You haven't seen anything. Because there will be massive numbers of people who will be out of work, all of which can be handled, where people can get better jobs at higher pay with greater satisfaction. Am I right, Paul? If we meet the challenge. So that means commissioners and the folks in this township, you work with your schools, get them out of their comfort zone. Because if we're not giving kids the skills, in many respects we'll be taking their future away. And it's not hard. It's exciting. It's amazing what is going to be happening in not only here in America, but all across the globe. So today's a great day to open this facility. I'm anxious to get out and see what they have, because when you get out there, it's going to be so different than anything you've ever thought of when you go out and look at a distribution center, a fulfillment center. Paul, tell everybody all the way to the top how much we appreciate the commitment to Ohio. Center, we remain very open to all kinds of things in regard to these folks. By the way, when they were out here talking to Columbus State and trying to develop a curriculum for cloud computing, I went into the room and I looked at the president of Columbus State, he's a terrific guy, Mr. Harrison, and I said, I don't care what it takes, I don't care what the obstacles are, we're moving and we're moving at the speed of Amazon. Get these people educated and get them work, and the future is very bright with this relationship and partnership. So, folks, that's a little lesson in so many different things. Why do I feel, sometimes I feel like Paul Revere. Paul Revere. Get the government, get the private sector, get the businesses, and most important, get you who live in this community, you who love this community, to move everything forward for the good of our kids. So, let's go on a tour. I'm going to do a quick one, and then I got to go, figure out what I'm going to say tomorrow night if I stay on stage.